If you are creative, if you like journaling, if you have a smart mouth, and people never know what's going to come out of your mouth, if you have sense of humor, there is a career path for you, and we're going to talk about it. Hey y'all. The thing is, every time I tell somebody that I'm a writer for a living, I get a lot of questions. How did you become a writer? What type of things do you write? How is that even a 9-to-5 job? What does a normal day look like? What exactly do you do? And being a copywriter is just so slept on as a career path, and it's all good because today I'm gonna give y'all the tea. Let's get into it. I already know your first question. What is a copywriter? A copywriter is a creative writer who writes marketing copy. And what marketing copy is pretty much any type of material that's used to promote or persuade an audience. Commercials, documentaries, pretty much anything that persuades a person. The variety of things that you could write are pretty much endless when it comes to copywriting. I'm a copywriter for an advertising agency, so there might be a few catchy and funny commercials that you see on TV that were written by me and my boss. Just saying. Anytime you see a billboard or a commercial, or if you like hear a catchy slogan or things like that, 9 times out of 10 there's a creative writer behind the scenes. So basically there's 3 different types of copywriters mainly. The first one is an in-house copywriter. Basically these writers write for brands that have their own marketing team. Pretty much the brand is big enough to where they just have their own marketing department. Netflix, Disney, any marketing giant, they usually have their own marketing team. The second type of copywriter is an agency writer. For brands that don't have their own marketing team, they usually hire an agency, which creates all of the marketing materials behind them. So an agency is pretty much just a huge giant marketing team. Like we have everybody. We have the writers, we have the designers, we have the web developers, we have the photographers, just everybody and their mama is at the agencies, okay? In comparison to in-house copywriters, with agency writers, there's a bigger creative range, in my opinion, because you're not necessarily writing just for one brand. There's multiple brands that are reaching out to the agency and working with the agency. Commercials, brochures, websites, different web pages, sometimes even emails and different conference presentations. Even marketing giants and marketing teams, sometimes they outsource and look for agencies to come in and step in when they need help. The third type is a freelance writer. Freelance writers are pretty much contractors. They're independent. They don't really work for nobody. They create their own rates, their own prices, and they go out and seek clients, or they have such a name for themselves to the point where clients and brands seek them and ask them to write different materials and pieces for them. When I do freelance from time to time, those projects have a bigger creative range. I could be ghostwriting a chapter or a bio for an author for a book, or creating a poster, or even writing different web pages for somebody's website. They find their work pretty much on different freelance platforms and things like that. The benefit of that is there's no cap on how much you can make. The challenge to that is obviously finding work, finding clients, and turning that into a full-time career. Finding clients and finding work isn't always the easiest thing to do, so shout out to freelancers that are full-time, because I be needing my medical, vision, and dental. That's just me. How did I become a writer? Let's talk about it. So if you haven't noticed by now, or if you know me personally, you know I always have a journal with me, or I'm always journaling in my phone. Even if we in a club and the club is dry and it's boring, I wouldn't even pretend like I'm texting somebody. What I'm doing is I'm journaling. I'm in my little notes app, just writing things, creating plans, writing prayers. I just be writing stuff. And so I love to write, and it was my passion for writing, my educational background, and the internships that I was able to get into from that. I got a long story about how I started out in college as an athlete, studying pre-med at the same time. I don't know why I did that. I don't know what I was doing. It was a hot mess. I ended up dropping out my classes, but something just clicked. Like, I'm not supposed to be nobody's doctor. We need to go back to school and be for real. I'm really one of those people where I just want to finish what I started. Do not put a goal in front of me, because like I'm gonna yeah, Kelsey, we finna finish school and we're gonna figure this out. That whole story is crazy, but the point is, when I did enroll back in school, something just told me to figure out a way that I can turn writing into a career. Like, what can I do with that? One thing that I kept seeing overlapping with, different degree paths that you could do was, for some reason, communications. So I noticed and I didn't know what this was at the time, but I kept seeing the word freelance writer or speech writer, PR writers, and things like that, because communications pretty much overlaps with marketing and public relations and things like that. You're pretty much writing to an audience, whether it's in the realm of politics or education or advertising. You're pretty much writing to some sort of public group. That was the idea that I had in my head going back and studying a major. So long story short, once I graduated with a bachelor's degree in communications and a master's degree in global strategic communications, I found my first internship on my school's job portal, being a social media writer and making Instagram and social media posts for different Asian restaurants around Chicago, which was really fun at the time. My second internship was a real advertising agency internship, and I found that through LinkedIn. LinkedIn is the plug. From that was my first exposure to working with a large marketing team and partnering with different departments and different graphic designers and different parts of the agency, and how they all collaborate and work together to create larger pieces, like some of the commercials that you see on TV. And then from those internships, that's how I was able to ease into becoming a junior copywriter and just working my little way up the ladder to senior copywriter. And that was my path into becoming a copywriter. Next question: what does a normal day look like? That's a good one, because there is no normal day. What is a normal day for a copywriter? COVID changed a lot. Ever since I started being a copywriter 4 years ago, all the agencies and places that I work for have been remote, where they just send me a laptop, give me the hours that I have to be online, and give me the deadlines. It's technically a 9 to 5, but it's all deadline based. It's really all about the deadlines. All that time throughout the day, if you don't have a meeting, is your time to either work on the project or do whatever you need or want to do throughout the day. But when that deadline comes, you gotta have that project submitted. Meetings can consist of kickoffs. That's where we get our deadlines, the information about what needs to be done for that particular project. We also have hot sheets / status meetings, which talk about what's due throughout the week, what needs to be prioritized, what projects are due at the end of the week, which department is working on the project at the moment. Sometimes we even have creative reviews. Those are live meetings for us to give feedback and ask questions on certain projects. And then the other meetings are brainstorm meetings, which are kind of my favorite. Tactical planning, concepting. Those are when different creative teams, usually writers and designers, pair up to create different ideas or concepts for a new project that's underway. Creating slogans, we're creating taglines, new visuals, brand colors. I don't know how to gauge it, so most of the time I'm writing things from scratch, or I'm developing and creating different pieces. And then the other portion of my workload is reviewing and giving feedback or receiving feedback and updating the projects and editing and all of the behind the scenes stuff that goes into finalizing and polishing the pieces. But advertising agencies are kind of unpredictable. So there can be days where I opened up my laptop and just started working before I brushed my teeth. And then we get to 1 in the afternoon and I realize I still ain't brushed my teeth. That's not okay. What I had to learn when I first started working from home is that I still need to create a routine as if I was leaving the house. Otherwise, everything gets all bunched and lumped up together, and I be forgetting to eat and brush my teeth and get myself together. And that's not cute. So my plate can look different each day. today there's other entry-level writers and designers that are also working on smaller things, so they're in a stage with me for me to review those, and I just gave them feedback. And we got some good writers on our team. These writers have been doing their thing. There's also a larger brainstorming or concepting sort of meeting that we have later in the day with the entire team. One of our brands is having a huge launch. They're launching or releasing a new product, so we have to create so many different materials just to promote the launch of this brand new product that we're not allowed to talk about until it's being released, basically. They also want to think about different visual ideas or different interactive ideas and to help get it out there with different audiences. Sometimes we even do what's called SEO, which is pretty much how we help people that use Google find the different websites and information about these brands in an easier and faster way, if that makes sense. So yeah, those are the things that are on my plate for today. Does it get stressful? Hell yes, it does. It's not every day, but you will have your days. There will just be some of those days where it just gets stressful. It's really all about them deadlines. I wouldn't call myself a procrastinator, but sometimes the thoughts just don't flow to you on the first day a project is presented to you. And you just work better under pressure when you know that there's a deadline you have to meet. Some people call that procrastination. I call it a creative burst. I get my projects done. I do what I gotta do. And even when you do everything on time, sometimes agencies are just unpredictable. They're just unpredictable. Unexpected changes can happen. So sometimes it does get stressful. Not every day, but you will have your days. I get tired, but I don't get tired of being a writer. That's the best way I could put it. Do you run out of ideas? No. There's always something going on up in here. I just might not have figured out how to put it together yet. You know what I mean? Writer's block is definitely a thing. Writer's block is real. But I don't think that that's necessarily your mind running out of ideas. I think that's just the point where you need to kind of rest, relax, refresh yourself. Come up with a few fun brainstorming activities to get your creative ideas flowing again. One of my professors in Spain taught me this. It's called A to Z. Get out a sheet of paper, get a notebook or something, and you write your ABCs all up and down the paper, and you start to fill out a word that starts with that letter until you get to Z. You could do it one time, you could do it 2 times, you can do it 3 times. Whatever word comes to mind, you kind of just bounce an idea off that word that starts with that letter, if that makes sense. So let's say it's related to food and you need to come up with ideas on what to write about food. Anything that starts with that letter that you just wrote down that relates to food. So apple, banana, cherry, delicious. I don't know, and you just keep going. Just see where the ideas take you. One other thing I like to use is these writing dice. One of my bosses sent me this for Christmas, which I thought was really cute. Pretty much on these dice are different topics or themes that help you come up with ideas. This is what they look like on the inside. So it's about like 9 of these that came in this little box. So with the green dice, they have like different character dimensions. I don't know if you can see that. It's like senior, non-human, woman. The white dice are like point of view, outsider, protagonist, antagonist, location, urban, rural, fantasy setting, or there's like a theme to what you want to write about, loneliness, love, a battle against yourself, or maybe the conflict is against something supernatural. So these are pretty helpful, especially for freelance projects and storytelling. A to Z and writing dice are the brainstorming ideas that help me out when I run out of ideas. I want to say when it comes to writing as a career, there's so many avenues and ways to get in it. It's not a one size fits all. Now the typical way when it comes to being a copywriter and writing marketing copy is obviously having some sort of educational background in marketing or advertising, public relations, communications, journalism, even sometimes English. So there's a range of different degree paths that you can take to get into copywriting. There's so many scammers when it comes to copywriting jobs, so I would be careful of those fake job posts that you can see on other job platforms. From my experience, LinkedIn is the best way to avoid this. I don't know what their filtering process is, but there is just a load of different copywriting opportunities specifically on LinkedIn. So if you are coming out of college and looking to get into copywriting or some sort of creative writing career, I would go on LinkedIn and just go crazy. Just apply like crazy. Make friends, ask the shadow copywriters, ask questions. Even those recruiters, they can get you into some legit jobs too. They just want their cut. So LinkedIn is the plug for sure. Writer's block is a thing, and the pressure for deadlines is another thing. So if you are not good with working under pressure and you don't like people all up in your booty hole about deadlines and when is this going to get done and when is that going to get done, it might not be the career for you. But you know, if you built for that pressure and you can handle it, don't be scared. Before all of this, I was a receptionist in the emergency room at one of the biggest hospitals in Chicago. So when it comes to pressure and chaos, I ain't scared. If you the girl for the job or the guy, go for it. My final advice is do not sleep on copywriters, speech writers, script writers, creative writers in any aspect. We are out there, we are behind the scenes, and we are putting things together. An authentic creative mind is always important, and there is a space for you. So I hope these questions cleared up some curiosity for y'all. I hope you were able to learn a little something about the career of a writer. Let me know if you have any questions in the comments, or if you're thinking about writing. And if you are already a writer, where are the writers? Like, are y'all here? When I step out the crib, I don't know where the other copywriters are. All I ever run into is people asking questions about what a copywriter is. So if you are a copywriter or a freelance writer or any type of writer and you are here and you made it to this video, leave a comment and represent, because where are we at? Where are y'all at? And if you haven't already, go ahead and click that subscribe button. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a thumbs up, and I will see y'all in my next video.